Hey everyone, so nice to see you all. So glad that you are checking in. You guys have been going to school now. Hopefully, you guys making some new friends. And speaking of making new friends, when we meeting someone new or making new acquaintances, you probably greet them. Greet the person warmly and perhaps even with a friendly handshake or high five or fist pump, especially if you are you have a good vibe or connection, mutual friendship, everything is going right? But what if you learn that the person had some kind of illness, right? Would you still feel like shaking hands with them, or do you have some kind of fear, or would you involuntarily or unconsciously pull your hand back and put it in your pocket, right? You see, back in the day, people with leprosy received that kind of negative reaction. Leprosy was seen as a death sentence, wreaking horrible physical devastation on the infected person, and lepers were unclean, outcast. No one came near them. And look at this passage where Jesus encountered a leper, and which was totally different than what we have expected. In Mark chapter 1, let's read this together. Mark chapter 1, verses 35 to 45. It says, "Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Simon and his companions went to look for him, and when they found him, they exclaimed, 'Everyone is looking for you.' Jesus replied, 'Let us go somewhere else to the nearby villages so I can preach there also. That is why I have come.' So he traveled throughout Galilee, preaching in their synagogues and driving out demons. A man with leprosy came to him and begged him on his knees, 'If you are willing, you can make me clean.' Jesus was indignant. He reached out his hand and touched the man, and 'I am willing,' he said, 'be clean.' Immediately the leprosy left him, and he was cleansed. Jesus sent him away at once with a strong warning. 'See that you don't tell this to anyone, but go, show yourselves to the priests, and offer the sacrifices that Moses commanded for your cleansing, a testimony to them.' And instead, he went out and began to talk freely, spreading the news. As a result, Jesus could no longer enter a town openly, but stayed outside in lonely places. Yet the people still came to him from everywhere." You see, despite the social and physical consequences, Jesus, filled with compassion, reached out and touched the leper in verse 41. And here's the thing, did Jesus really need to touch him in order to heal him? The answer is no. The answer is no. Jesus could have just said the word and the leper would have been healed. But why? Something for us to think about, right? Why did Jesus actually touch him? Because Jesus cares for him. Jesus loves him. And Jesus knows what it feels like to be rejected. And the empathy and the love of Jesus demonstrated by Jesus is challenging us and calling us to reach today's outcasts. Understand this in context. People greatly fear lepers. Many kinds of leprosy had no cure back in the day. It goes without saying, once a leper, always a leper. And the side effect meant disfigurement or paralysis. In other words, you not only look bad, but also can't move very well if you have leprosy. On top of that, the law that is found in Leviticus 13 and 14 said that people with leprosy were classified as ceremonial unclean, which means they were barred and banned from all religious and social activities. In other words, you can't go to church, you can't go to parties, you can't go to school, you can't go to movies, or you can't go to family gatherings. As a matter of fact, you can't even live with your family. Lepers had no status. They live as total outcasts, literally. They don't live in town, they live outside the walls of a town. Some people even throw rocks at them to keep them away. Here's the thing, certainly you know people who wear that stigma of an illness or as a disability or some other condition. The natural response of revulsion will only prevent us from reaching out to those people in any meaningful way. God's love compels us to be friendly, to be accepting, and to be kind, and to help them if possible. So my encouragement to y'all today is this: reach out and to touch an untouchable today. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments below. Hit us with like, share, or subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well. Again, love to hear from you. God bless you all. Have a great week. Bye-bye.